Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Al Roy, president and CEO of Roy Sports Group, to discuss the business of hockey with the NHL playoffs kicking off shortly through mid-July. Al, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me.
And what is the economic state of the NHL and other pro leagues as a result of the pandemic?
I do think it's been a tough year for everybody. We are going into the playoffs now where most teams, especially in the U.S., are trying to get to maybe 50% capacity for the playoffs. As far as the league revenue for the NHL, we don't know what the final numbers are going to be, but it's been affected greatly. And since we play in a 50-50 league where the players and the owners kind of share the revenue 50% at a 50% rate, it probably will affect our escrow rate for next year. So it's been a tough year, but the good news in the NHL is that the new TV contracts came in at a higher number than expected. I think almost $625 million per season is going to be the average of the new TV contract, and that's going to help make up the difference for that 50-50 on the player side.
Do you think it will be tricky having a Canadian team enter the U.S. for this playoff circuit?
I think it will be, but what I expect is that they'll probably figure out which one of the teams that will lose out in the first round and maybe use one of those U.S. NHL cities to keep a Canadian team in a bubble there and play as basically the home team. Let's say Tampa Bay were to lose in the first round and Toronto were to win the Canadian division, then Toronto would move into Tampa and basically use their facilities. It sounds like that's going to be the plan. It has not been announced yet, but that's what I would expect would happen.
Let's go back to the TV contracts for a moment. How do you think that's going to help the future of the NHL?
I think with ESPN and TNT and ABC coming on board, I do think it's going to play a big role in growing the game. The streaming platforms, Hulu, are part of the ABC family, and I think that's going to be a really important part of the future of the game. You look at some of the success of some of these series, like the Formula One series on Netflix, the behind-the-scenes stuff that you see in sports that younger audience is really kind of hungry for. I think now that we have these new partners, it can really help grow the game in different directions for us.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that's some of the more exciting footage to watch. What's to be expected from Seattle on the expansion draft?
We expect the anti-Vegas expansion draft, meaning that the last time around, Vegas, I think, cut a lot of deals with teams and ended up with some pretty good players and a good team right away. They're a Stanley Cup favorite this year after only being in the league for a few years. I think Seattle is going to face a different challenge where they're probably going to use the stagnant cap to their advantage, meaning that they're probably going to want to sign their own free agents. I don't think they're going to get suckered into taking these bigger contracts out there for some older players. I think they're going to leave those on the table, probably choose some younger players, but leave themselves some room for this summer and next summer for free agents and try to really build a team that way, which is kind of the opposite of what happened with Vegas a few years ago.
So let's play some inside baseball. I realize that's the wrong sport, but how has the pandemic helped redefine the job of an agent and agency in the world of hockey?
For us, it's been challenging in the fact that we haven't been able to see a lot of people face-to-face or games in person. So we've had to use technology a lot. We usually have a development camp. We did a Zoom online development camp for a week for some of our young prospects. We're using a lot of video footage to highlight our possible draft prospects for the July 23rd draft that's coming up for the NHL. We took this time to really dive really deep into the biometric epigenetic world of athletes and maybe using some of that data to help our athletes achieve their potential. So it's been, in a way, a challenging time, but in a way, an exciting time for us because we use it as a time of growth for the agency and really trying to use technology to take us to that next level and maybe give even better, deeper service to our clients.
And Al, how can the NHL capitalize on the Asian market with the upcoming Olympics?
If they can actually just capture maybe 1% of that population with the Olympics coming up and make them hockey lovers, kind of like the Dream Team did back, I think that was '92. For that they did it for basketball. If they could do that for the hockey world, I think that could move the needle quite a bit as far as overall revenue for the league in the future years.
All right, Al, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.
Have me.